Alright, well, let me set up the capture. See if it works. It does. F1 runs open. Hello, I'm Studio, welcome. I am, but this channel is not affiliate or anything. So I will stream from time to time when I feel like it, because it's something for me to do to practice my English, and that's about it. It's not really anything with any obligations of any kind. But when I feel like it, I can still stream. It's just I can't get anything from it. And yeah, that's how it is. But I'm not back. No. Not just that, but there is no incentive to do anything of any kind. I can just be here because I want to, but that means that I'm not a slave to the Bezos fucker. So, you know, if someone is being an idiot, I can just either ban them or just tell them to their face and then get rid of them, which is good, because I'm sick of, you know, dealing with people like that. So, yeah. However, that doesn't mean I'm gonna be mean or anything. I never was on purpose. But I don't like childish behavior, as you might know. Oh, it is. It is really bad. But out of all the platforms, it has the most reach. So you want to use it, usually, because of that reason alone, even if their practices are awful, and they also are basically extortionate. But the reach is something that you normally are after, and most people are here, so that's why this is the place for the streams. Okay, so today we'll be testing the new trader logic build. Along with, if someone didn't see the latest unstable changes, obviously that might be new for some people. Anyhow, today is about testing the new trader logic. So just to say in sort of one cohesive sentence what it is. So you know how traders always worked in a specific way, where they arrive on the map, then they seek your imports, you sell them, and then they seek your exports, then they recalculate to backtrack to buy more exports, or sorry, sell you more imports if they can, and then they leave. Yeah, I mean, there are some changes to that logic, and unfortunately it wasn't possible to just adjust it because it's very cryptic in how it's done. So Sephirex has managed to rebuild that logic from scratch for sake of, you know, allowing future improvements. It doesn't currently change all that much, but there is a value-based decision-making system which we need to test today, and that is, you're given options which you never want to give them anyway. So, for example, you would have a warehouse off the beaten path that would completely cripple your quota, but for some reason you couldn't identify this as a problem, and you would let them travel there. Now they shouldn't just look at the goods list, because unless you, well, if you don't know, the traders basically like to do things in this way. This price list right here is what they would go after. And so if you wanted to sell marble, but you had a bunch of clay that would also be possible to buy, well, too bad, they would try to load up on the clay first. Now they shouldn't do that. And that is because now they consider value of goods, amongst other things. And so, hopefully, that's gonna help. Sounds like a good change. Probably. We'll see how it works. Uh, it was one of the things that a lot of new people struggle with before you realize what a quota is, how to maximize it. Obviously, I suspect you still don't want traders given options, same as with any other walker in the game. Giving them options usually results in horrible inefficiency, and that's just bad. So I will still not give them options because I cannot trust them. But today we will give them options on purpose just to see what the changes do. Because previously it just wouldn't work. It would straight up cripple your city if you do this. I mean, you can still win a lot of the maps while doing this because some maps are just easy. But it still means that you would be basically soft locking your economy. It would just be an overall awful experience because you couldn't maximize all the trade, and then, oh, why is there so much trade when I can't fulfill it? Well, maybe it's because you haven't been doing proper orders. However, yeah, now with this change, we'll see how a city that's technically not built in an optimal way would fare in this. Hello, Seth, welcome. Okay. I'm gonna reload that then. Just give me a sec. No problem. More bugs all the time, I see. It's a new testing build, so that's to be expected. Let me grab that. Now, I suspect the capture will need to be done again. Okay. This is the version you've sent me, so hopefully it's the latest of it, all the bug fixes. You're just finding a new bug every 5 minutes. We've had plenty of first line issues. Version 4 is what I just built 2 minutes ago. Okay. So the best map to test this on, I believe, would be Valentia. Because it has very vital logistics. There's not much tax, and you need, or you don't need, I've seen people beat this even with horrible setups. However, you should be prioritizing highway and not letting traders travel in this map, and we'll give it
here. I want to be a lion tamer.
Thanks to the follow. Let's go in. I'm not gonna listen to the intro, I don't think. Just take a look at some events. You can only export raw materials and food. No manufactured goods can be sold. Corruption. For every forum built, I'll lose favor. That is embezzlement. So as our city grows in population, we lose money naturally. We need to offset it with good economics, which is hard when we cannot tax well. And we have a distant province. Our entertainment options will be limited until 600 patricians are living in Valencia. You can bypass this by doing patricians, by evolving your block temporarily and then shutting it off. I'll see if I do it legit or not. Anyway, so let's play Valencia. Nothing super crazy gonna be going on. There is a lot of changes for people who might not know the latest changes in the unstable. So if you go to trade sidebar, when you hover over city, it kind of pops it up. When you open it, it shows a little, the trading line with a little dot traveling to your city. It also can have a mechanic where, oh, what other cities would buy clay? I hover over clay and it shows here. If there are more types of good than this, it will show us 3 dots though. So you need to still see if the city has lots of types down here. This is obviously a huge quality of life improvement, so it's almost universally liked. Obviously, you will be able to turn it off if you for some reason wish to. Something else to note about this, eventually we want to include a trade ledger where you could see your past year's quota fulfillment, which is a vital piece of information which you often have to track yourself currently, looking at it in December, which is something that's very easy to miss. And it would be pretty good to have, especially since Reconquered introduced so many maps with large quotas that now high trade but tighter economy overall is more of a, meta map making thing, because it makes the player think about expanding, and it naturally leads you towards making large population cities instead of relying on labor sponging, which has always been really annoying to deal with, especially now that Augustus always kind of nerfed unemployment. Because in Julius, if you weren't aware, the meta thing to do is to sit on like 50% unemployment, to not pay half of your people and tax them. That's how you win a lot of the Julius maps, because, well, there is not much trade in Julius, and the trade that there isn't usually more than, or it cannot be more than 40 per single resource type on a specific city. And so quota and quota throughput was never really such a huge issue. But with Augustus, it turns the game into something completely different, with logistics becoming way more important. Anyway, that's all something else. I just mentioned things that might be new to people. So we also have the top bar. You see this? 1st January? Yeah, now we can see the days tick by, because that wasn't a possibility before. The months going past as you play were always a bit cryptic, and it actually is impressive that has managed to get the months tracking and the days tracking correctly, because I know that the game didn't track months correctly. It was like 12 days per month or something, and then that's how it worked. So the ticks were probably increased so that you can have so many days. I don't know how that's done, but suffice to say, this is a good piece of information. Yeah, 16 days per month, that's it. Then we have this. This means this is my savings. And when we hover over this, there's a tooltip, so you're not confused. Oh, why am I in debt? No, it's not debt, it's your savings. And I prefer this version of it where I have it on the right instead of here. Because when I have it here, I always think I'm in debt. So I put it here with a setting. Original placement of top bar stuff, that's how it's called. You can use it if you want. If you're like me and you're too old, you do that. Then you have this. You see your ratings here, and also possibly what you need to do to increase them, as in your advisor. So that skips you having to go there, and also you can see your city health, which is good. So those are some of the changes that are immediately, visible. There's been some other stuff like roadblocks being moved to road building category. We also have, let me check, latrine. Latrine costs 15 denarii, very cheap. It allows you to, instead of using a fountain, you can now go to small casa with latrine and well. So you no longer get stuck at large shacks. It's important for maps that rely on building Neptune Grand Temple for water access as the only viable water source on the entire map, which can even trivialize some of those maps, which is fine. It's just a thing. I normally wouldn't build them unless the map is very gimmicky, or terrain-wise I'm stuck somewhere where I cannot give them water. So I mean, I don't hate its existence, it's just not something I would use on a normal map, and it's okay to have buildings that are situational, same as some grand temples are and should be situational, because not all of them should always go to pick, I don't believe. However, they should at least be a little bit competitive, which we do know that, there's been some balance issues with some of the epithets and monuments. Hopefully we will have that be fixed or rebalanced in the near future, because that is a thing people have been asking for quite a lot. Color of savings startles me as well. I implemented it. I want to add some color options when we tackle settings windows, so people can set colors individually. Wonderful. That's what I was immediately thinking, is not having the red. I know you probably only have yellow, white and red, but red is the color of death, and just its appearance on the top bar triggers a primal instinct of survival. Just pure adrenaline flooding my veins, even though I'm just starting with a bunch of money, so it's best if I put it on the side so I don't channel my inner caveman. There's some cracked Russian build that had money display in turquoise color. Jesus. Well, I mean, I would like to customize that color. Let's start out, shall we? Let's go ahead. Can I do this? Oh yes, that's another thing. You can go to your advisors by clicking the things. That's pretty good, not gonna lie. Let's keep clerk's salary. Got a lot of colors actually, that's why I want to add color options. I can make you turquoise instead of red for this stream. Right. Well, if I move it on the side like this, I will never confuse it like if it's here. But for the sake of making this, you know, possible to play with the savings being here, I would say the settings are pretty mandatory because the red is really, you know, as someone who plays a lot of custom maps where you are in that a lot of time, seeing the red in your top bar really is something that you usually want to avoid, and when it happens, like, why is it like that? Oh yeah, it's just, you know, a thing. Anyhow, let's make our first block. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 tiles. Let's make it reasonably long. This should work. Let's check the bathtub. Yes. Bathtub works. There are some rocks in the middle. We don't care. It's okay. We have the high ground. Therefore, it's all over. And we will have the desirability bonus from it. This probably has 1 tile extra for 1x1s here. That's okay. Just keep putting the plebs in. Will not be tryharding with side houses, the diagonal mergers or non-mergers. I'm gonna just wait normally. I only try hard when I absolutely have to with that. I'm gonna keep some space here for markets. We could possibly have them here though, because this is a supply hub, obviously, and then we put another block here feeding from the same supply hub. We also want water to be brought here, because there is no water access here. I could water it from here or here, but I would like that aqueduct to just go here naturally. We could also use this. But it's close to the enemies, and I don't know how fast I'll fix this being a thing. Anyhow, I was just talking about that because I need to decide which side do we put extra houses on, and it could be this side. It's gonna have some industrial highways down here, but it probably shouldn't reach them, so it's okay. And I'll do it in a way that we keep 1x1 spot here for people to get in and out of this area. And a little more side houses. Should be good enough. Let's get some services in. I want my water. Plenty of 1x1 spots to pick. We'll be doing 2 prefects because public order. And one would get stuck fighting criminals all the time, which wouldn't be enough to deal with all the bad people. Let's get an engineer over here. Now we own temples. I'm gonna be building probably all the grand temples, but I don't believe that we can fit all the services as well as temples in this block. So what I'll do is I'll just put Venus in each block, and then the rest of the temples can go elsewhere. I might actually put them here. Which gives me some desirability extra, which is also pretty good. I will need to keep entry here, which is fine. Do it like this. We could have put like clay pits here, but this is pretty close to houses, so I'd rather not do that. Okay, basics are set up. I think the path is clear. We don't need to clear any trees or anything like that. So let's wait, and you see the days are already ticking by. Hello Cloud, welcome. I've seen you've played Hearts of Iron earlier. Did you play the Sheep's mod? And more importantly, did you suffer? Hello Fairby, welcome. Yeah, I've just come home a second ago. Yes, and yes. Did you play with max cheats or not? No pain, no gain. Without, yeah, I mean that's reasonable. Because you will still suffer, even without giving them the cheats.
Greetings. I'm new to this place. Do you have anywhere to live?
Get in my city. As I mentioned, we won't be tryharding mergers, as in, I'm not gonna put in the diagonals right now. I'll put them in as they move in, as I usually do it. This is on maps that are not insane, you can just do this and live. Which on, like, the hardcore custom maps, you need to min-max every single aspect of it, otherwise you die. Which is not the case here. So let's enjoy this. So Valentia, it can be pretty chill, I think. But yeah, we are supposed to test the trader behavior, so that's what we will be doing. Also, you might notice the red overlay. I'm not using an overlay, this is just desirability showing. I use all buildings when being built show me desirability on them, which I find really useful. On a reservoir, it doesn't show because it shows the water range instead, which I guess it could overlap with the red, since, you know, the blue stretches more than that. It would probably still be okay and visible, clearly what it does. So I'd probably still add that. Still no library yet, we'll have to wait a little. We have a bathhouse, barber, doctor, we shouldn't worry about plague. Hey Dragon, welcome. The onion peeled me even earlier. It declared on you in December 1940, which was ridiculous yesterday. When you don't attack Poland in time, they will cancel the non-aggression pact and the beginning of 1940. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I would probably still have that display on the reservoir hover, because the range of the water is higher, longer, so it wouldn't confuse anyone, I don't think. And it still does have a malus, so it's good to know about how far that goes, I think. Let's check our first trade route, so it's gonna be Emporia, clay and timber. We want to think about our trade, however, with this first trade route, I don't know if I can already test the behavior. What is more pricey? Timber and clay. It's timber. But clay is earlier in the list, isn't it? Yes. So before this update, if I put clay warehouse here somewhere, make clay around here, and then I have a timber warehouse here, what they would do is they would first go for the clay. But in this version, they should go for the timber. And we'll see if they do that. I need to think about docks. Best dock is here. But it's just one. No. I covered it at the start of the stream. The traders will go for what would net you the most money, which they can buy from that trade route. So if they buy clay and gold, they'll go for the gold first. Hey Articor, welcome. Are there Docker changes in this build? Yes. All three carters can handle imports without just it being one as before, and it's been slightly increased how fast they operate. It's still, as far as I know, imports are still first, but Seth, can you tell me exactly? Because we talked about it before, where food imports are kinda important on a lot of maps, but perfectly would let people decide that. Because some maps where you don't have any local food will have you do that, but on other maps you might not want that. So, you know, the basic behavior as far as I understand is still the same, meaning they'll still do imports first and then they'll go for your exports. But what kind of warehouses they go for, given options will be dictated by the price now, and they also take into account distance. Is that correct? Yeah, I mean, it's gonna impact maps, that's for sure. More or less, but the price isn't the main factor. No, it's also distance, right? It's distance and price. And what else? Is there another factor they consider? Let's get some timber. Everything is weighted on a logarithmic scale. They account for how many resources they can buy and how many they can sell. And in terms of selling, they measure it against the current resource price. What is definitely gone here is imports are no longer first. They'll just go for where it makes sense. Aha. So I don't think we import much on this map. I can import fruit, which we could use something to test it. Distance score. Depending on quota value, they can change direction. No, they should just pick the best option for them. And if they, I assume if they trade and they still have space left, then they do the calculation again and go for the second best option for them as they leave that warehouse. And I assume the calculation still only occurs when they interact with a warehouse, not on the fly, because that would mean they constantly get backtracked. However, if they don't go for imports first now, I mean, it doesn't matter much because, you know, you might know that going, oh, imports first, exports later was not a thing anyway, because it was based on a really stupid calculation of people not knowing that, oh, they will still backtrack if you set it up apart from each other. Like, for example, we would import fruit into a granary here, and then we would have a warehouse selling something here. They would sell you stuff here first. But then they would go here and then go, oh, I can still sell you 1 unit of fruit. And then they would go all the way back. And, you know, then they could go, oh, I need to buy some more timber. And they would come here. So you still wanted that perfectly close to each other, not, you know, far away. Even if imports first, it didn't matter as much as you might think. It more matters how much of a distance between each other they both have. So for every place, they check how many resources I can sell by here, and they judge it by the quota. So for example, if quota is 28 out of 30, but there is space for 12, they will know they can only trade 2 loads in that place. And yes, Mark is right, they only calculate it when they're changing direction. When they enter the town or leave a warehouse, they make a call and stick to it. Yep, that's important. Quota per exports of 1 good has not completely been filled. They might change warehouse because the formula changed its output. As Sephirex said, if they know that they, you know, go for that last 1 piece of gold, it might not be as valuable as loading up on 12 clay. So they might optimize for what is worth for them to do, which is fine. We'll see how that works. I'm thinking about how we can even test it properly here. I will try to do something to test the imports, and we will see. I mean, it is important, but not as much as you might think. You don't want it too smart. Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, hardcore. You should still be rewarded for making something that is based on logic and knowledge, instead of just, you know, the game chewing the food for you. But the problem here was that even with relatively, you know, thoughtful design, you could still have some really retarded behavior because the game just couldn't, you know, decide what to do, especially with those split warehouses from each other, and especially without them taking into account distance at all, which that's a common mistake for new people, is they put warehouses or generally granaries that traders can interact with without considering the travel distance or time, and that just results in some horrific inefficiencies. Anyhow, let's set up this warehouse. I'm talking way too much, so we should be playing instead. I need this somewhere where it makes sense for me. I would like a trade center to have like more warehouses, so this is a good place for it. So let's put it here. It can have a highway next to it, which is perfect. So road, road. Also, this tile is a road. It always was a road, by the way. This just, you know, now you can actually use it as such, which wasn't the case before visually. But it was always like that. Which is why, like, ox carts could move through it or wherever you could see. And it's not just walkers skipping corners. Copy a warehouse. Now when you copy a building, it saves its rotation. Yes, that's another change. So you see, that is now rotated. Also, if I build a roadblock with a color, as it should, yes, green one. Let's have a green one. This saves me so much brain power, and it might actually make me decide to decorate more, because that's a major factor in me not decorating. It's just, it serves no practical reason and it's just obtuse. This reduces some of that garbage, so thank you. No, it's fine. I reported it, it's fixed. Sev has fixed it. Because that's what he does, because he's Chad. You report something, boom. He's done it, because he's no life. He's just, yeah. Okay, let's get some people in here. Get this timber. Stockpiling here, allowed caravans. Call for. Timber, yeah. We can do, oh yeah, no, this is another thing. You can do 4s. You can also right click to go back. You don't need to cycle through the whole thing. You can just do this. So that you can go, oh, I want 24 instead of, you know, that. You can stockpile by 4s. But one very important thing to watch out for. If you set it for 4, then those cars will be idle a lot of the time. And then the caravan comes in, picks up the 4, and before the cars can put more into that, they will leave. So, you know, it's not just, oh, now I'm gonna split every warehouse into 4s of everything. Not really. Unless you hate yourself, in which case, yes. Also, is there a mothball thing? No. There's gonna be a mothball icon or flag above buildings eventually. I assume it's not in yet. MSTVD being a Skyrim character, just casually chugging down, you know, 5 wheels of cheese as a light snack. Let's get... not yet. Okay. Yeah, it was probably the assets. I was thinking it's already in. Let's make that clay warehouse. And in order to test this, I need to allow this. Normally, I would not allow them to come here and move it with ox carts. We want to see what they do. So let's have this in. Wonder what hardcore Julius player would say when they hear of these improvements. I mean, that's kind of a mute point because those people don't like anything that Augustus added as quality of life either. Because it's making the game too easy, or, you know, they generally don't like mergers or any other thing you could imagine. So I've no doubt that, you know, making the caravans less retarded is also against the spirit of the universe, according to the flat earthers, aka Julius people. Or, sorry, hardcore conservative Julius players. Just to be clear. Everyone can enjoy what they want, though. I'm not saying that you can't play the game your own way. However, some complaints are just completely ridiculous. Oh yeah, new natives. I know. But we don't have a function for them. I'm waiting for the native rework so I can, you know, I can update the RC finally. And I want the natives so I don't have to update again right after. But I know it's a lot of work. So also the forts. I'm waiting kind of on the military overhaul as well, because without the new... I'm not gonna talk about specifics, but without how it might work in the future, currently a lot of the late game RC maps account for you using fort blocks, which is an exploit. And I want to redesign it so it's not mandatory, or rather not intended. But in order to do that, I need some kind of alternative which is fair and not an exploit, so that I can actually, you know, design the maps in a way that's rewarding and not just, oh yeah, those weather effects now. They don't have any practical effects, which they really shouldn't have, because if this impacts your production rates, I think it would just be RNG based and thus not very fun. Especially on those really tight maps where you can't make mistakes. Model assets ready, and we had test implementation, but it's waiting for stockpiling to warehouse icon. They'll be displayed side by side, right? That's also important. Thank you. Haralder needs to finish the new native walker for that, sadly. I know. Oh, why is this?
There's no space for this lot anywhere in the city.
Yeah, I mean, fair buy. That's what I was kind of... I have time right now. If I knew that it would make sense to update the RC, I would already be working on that in my spare time after work. But instead, I'm doing other things because there's no point currently. I'm waiting on those two things, and without them being in, I feel like anything I make is just gonna have to be redesigned in a relatively near future anyway, and that's not a good feeling. As you might know, updating the maps, and you know, you don't want to do it every, you know, month or something. It's bad. It's also bad for people getting the RC, so that they don't have to wrap their head around multiple versions all the time. Why is this not delivering though? There is no reason for them not to deliver here. Oh, it starts us off. That might be why. Right? Is that what's causing it? Yeah, I mean, I can change that. That's not a problem. But it's gonna waste some money, obviously. Might be bugged. We'll see. Pay you back. No one's gonna refund me for that highway, I'm afraid. I think this starts as disable stockpiling to a warehouse though. Oh, suffice to say, this needs checking. I'm gonna share the file with you. I'm sure you can figure out what's going on better than me. Because I have no idea what's causing it. This is a test build, by the way, so if someone's being upset that this breaks the save, yeah, that's what I expected anyway. So like, we are testing here, which means this is completely normal, and it's actually good that we found something before it makes it to, you know, players. There's a post in help and discussion channel. Was there something removed? Was there spam or something? On my server Furby? Okay. Should be irrelevant since it simply prevents from taking goods to workshops. Enable stockpiling to a warehouse. Yeah, it does. I was just thinking what could be behind it. Because there's no indication of anything. If I enable other types of walkers. Nope. Still nothing. Okay. There's some sort of bug in this. So we'll have to wait a little until Seth figures out what's going on. Then we'll probably be restarting anyway because we wasted a bunch of money and time on something that wouldn't pay off for us. And also the new version might not be compatible, of course. Will be compatible? Okay. Well, I'm gonna probably start over anyway, because money and time has been wasted. And that's... I mean, I could probably survive with that, but... Yeah, no problem. Take your time. That's what we are here for. Should disable the timer, otherwise people might get confused. Just take another 3 days to reinvent the cheese wheel. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty quick. Some Hoi 4 music instead, I guess. Or no, let's do Stronghold. We could do Stronghold. Okay, thank you. No problem. Looks like I got a DM. Let's check. Okay. Let's get that. Oh, you're missing equals. Right. Well, let's hope that it fixed it. We'll see. Let's see if the OBS can capture this without me having to set it up again. That would be good. Yeah, okay. It just takes a minute. So from what I understand, I do have an autosave. It's already after I deleted some highways, but I can probably still play on and not have a tremendous difficulty doing that. So we have the latest fix. After logic updates, I was doing a lot of code bases streamlining and changed if warehouse state equals not accepting to warehouse state exclamation mark equals not accepting. Right. You'll see. Yep. Okay, that's fixed. So accepting 24, let's build some highway again. Even though I might just wait, honestly, it's fine. So we are doing some of that stockpiling, we are doing some of this stockpiling, and then we want to see the trader logic and if they choose the correct choice. Because before this update, they would go for the clay, but in this update they should go for the timber. So I'll see if they do that. So there's a bit of timber, I'm waiting on some clay. In C, exclamation mark equals means not equal. Double equal means equal, right? Well, I don't code, so for me this is black magic, but I'm gonna have to take your word for it. So there's some clay, there's some timber. Let's wait for at least a bit more. There we go. Now let's open this trader, and we'll sell clay as well as timber, and we'll see what they do. Now obviously this is, again, normally you don't want to give them this option because it's stupid, but what if you did? Would they be retarded or not? That is the question. Only the important questions are gonna be answered here today. Gonna have surplus labor soon. We should open another trade route. Sand and gold. Okay. Could just, because I don't know what the throughput will be without a highway. Starting to see what happens. Yep, me as well. That is the caravan. Heading to a city warehouse. You know what would be cool? If you could click this and it would take you there, like car depot function. I don't know if it's possible to include. Non-hurdle past. Also, I'm using the setting where they shouldn't follow the road if it's not the fastest way to go about things, which is also an option you can now do, which I honestly think should be part of the normal stuff. And you know, maybe legacy settings could be something for those weird people who just want to play with misery, but it shouldn't even be in the normal settings. Yeah, first stop to put a number there. Yeah, and power map, because that's what we need the most. But, you know, we could have more things, because I'm sure a coding slave can handle more pressure, right? It's okay. He'll do just fine. Let's see. Keep adding industry. Why are they going for this tile when this is available? They shouldn't be doing that. And that's a big deal because this roof section, especially for dockers, is important to rotate. With lanterns as well, this is causing 3 tiles of inefficiency, and I will not stand for that, okay? In my labor city, I will not accept any inefficiency, okay? Why is it like that? Riddle me that. What if they set out trying to buy timber, but once they arrive, it's all gone to furniture warehouses? Some questions don't have answers. What about... Okay, thanks. What about if we had fruits imports? But I'm not a communist. I like Warhammer, okay? And that's a different thing. It's quite contrary. So no kolkhoz for me, thank you. Stuff. Yeah, what if we import fruits? So if I accept fruit here, and I set imports, what they would do after they spawn in, they would, they should go for this fruit first, right? Normally the old logic would dictate that. But now we need to wait for the traders to kind of do their thing. After they reshuffle, I expect they might still go here now because they want to sell me that fruit. So I'm gonna disable that for a second until more can spawn in. Because they can only have 3 caravans on the map, so I'll have to wait. Yeah, I'm also not sure what they do. That's why we need to test it. I think this house needs to get yeeted. It's okay. Yeah, if the stream suddenly ends, you know what happened. Avenge me. Okay. We'll see. I'm gonna wait for this caravan to leave and then we'll... Oh, no, 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 you bastards. Oh no, they are heading for the clay. Yeah, so we still don't want this, obviously, but this is... I'm not gonna say fine, but intended for what we are testing. That's intended. However, it's really, really stupid. And I cannot even bear to watch it. I should really set up more industry because otherwise we're gonna have some serious unemployment. I could already produce food. We'll see. Gonna set up some... Yeah, let's just accept more. And then we'll do 4 fruit. Because I need to kind of still play the game even while testing. So we can't afford to just completely, you know, not do correct decisions. What do you reckon? They should leave the city after buying 4 timber? No, that's correct. They should do this. That's why I'm saying it's something they should do with this kind of setup. It's just that this is exactly why I would still never do this. Even though, again, I have seen people do this. It's not even that uncommon. Like Zach does this all the time. It's not something that's like super niche or anything. No, people do this. Which is, you know, you should watch this and see, oh, I don't want this to happen, right? And it's just fine. You get the visual feedback for something being stupid. You should fix it. As we talked about. However, at least now they try to do the correct thing. And if the correct thing isn't available, then they do the stupid thing. Which is fine. Did that caravan leave? No, not yet. Oh, of course. In my normal city, but this is not a normal city. There's nothing normal about this city because we will be testing. Meaning I will have to do cursed things on purpose. Oh, it is, yeah. But that doesn't mean it doesn't need to be tested. Quite the contrary. But you see how much effort is being put into accommodating people like this? They better appreciate this. Okay, caravan is about to leave. Gonna set the fruits to be imported. Now let's watch the PC explode. I'm not gonna know immediately, so I'm gonna have to wait. It's snowing in Valentia. I mean, it's December, so I guess that's fair. I know. That's why we have so many creative disagreements, Drogon. There you go. Do the months have Julian calendar accurate lengths? I don't know. Probably not. Because you know. Yeah. Julius Caesar invented the calendar, and I'm pretty sure he made it to add days automatically without it being done by Pontifex Maximus on purpose to take it out of hands of politicians. However, I don't think the days were exactly the same as we have them today, because they were increasing steadily throughout history, so I doubt that's the case. Let's see what they do. No, they are going for the fruit. Damn it! How could you do this? Okay. Ruined. Absolutely disgusting. Ugh. Why? Well, I assume the imports were still a priority here for some reason. No. There's still areas that have snow in Hispania, I'm pretty sure, but not all of it, and Valentia is in an area that it shouldn't restart. No, that's not about the map, this is testing. How much timber do I have? A full warehouse. And it had timber when they were spawning, I'm pretty sure. Let's watch the second one. And I can only import 4 into that warehouse. Oh, they already sold me 4. The past ones. And now these guys, they're still going here because they don't know. Because they recalculated when they spawned in, and the second one is doing it as well. What's the value of fruit? I mean, it's probably normal. Yeah. This is vanilla price for it, I believe. Do you want to get kicked out of the Discord or something? Okay. Yeah, no, it's fine to have the normal dates, because people will just get confused if you made the calendar accurate. Yeah, as I've said, he didn't implement logic for imports. He implemented the logic for exports. But they should no longer do imports first, and they are still doing that. Which is what is the thing I was testing right now. So, what does that mean? Do you want the imports first or not? Because, like, it makes sense, sort of. Just factory set to 0, okay. I mean, that doesn't really matter for the imports, I presume. Except, sometimes when a route would sell you, like, 3,600 wheat, and it would sell you 4 marble, and you need that marble. Maybe it's good to, you know, have an option to make them only sell you that as a priority, but then you would just disable the wheat and import the marble. But if you want to eliminate the micro of that, they should be they should follow the same logic basically. More expensive import probably should be prioritized. But normally we don't even put the same imports on that route in custom empires anyway, because we can't expect that to work well. So that's why we usually have a specific city selling you something and not the same, like food and also some other good, like clay and food would be horrible. So import first, they see that warehouse as we can buy 8 clay here and sell fruit here too. Ah, right. Well, let's test it. Let's put this to the test. This only accepts clay. And then this accepts fruit. Yep. I mean, obviously this is horrible for my city's finance and everything, but we are testing here, so I assume we want to give it a shot. Oh, they disappeared. They disappeared. They got 66. No donkey, no problem. I assume. Interesting. I removed their destination. Yeah, I could see how you could exploit this. On some ridiculous maps as well. Caravan despawning. Thanks. I'm gonna send you the file. You could even not even delete the warehouse. I'm pretty sure if you mothball it, it would still despawn them. Which you could refresh traders super fast with that. The new meta has been developed. It just takes, you know, you break your mouse after playing one map. Autosave, yeah, I can. Save games, autosave. There you go. Hopefully that's before they disappeared. Anyway, what are they doing? Oh, they are going for the fruit, the bastards. And they can only do 8. They leave the city, yep. That's the only That's the only case where they should recalculate. But it could still be exploited, I'm pretty sure. Closer. Yeah, but not, you know, as crow flies, but not physically. Which is another flaw, is they don't see tiles traveled as a calculation. They see it as crow flies, this is closer. So we tested that's still a thing. This is one thing we can't fix. You can do anything, Seth. You need to do this, okay? I trust you. No, I'm gonna put it here. This should still be further than this. Also, is it possible, Seth, tell me, is it possible for them not only to see a distance-based calculation of what is here, closest to the spawn point, but also what would be closest, as in, if I spawn and then go for something like this, even if it's closer to the spawn point by distance alone, as crow flies, but then it takes me longer to leave, could you factor that in? Because, you know, that's a factor, and the caravans currently don't factor that in at all. Because, like, if something's closer as crow flies, but it lengthens their path travel to leave the map, then they don't see that as a thing at all. Yeah, okay. Eventually. I'm gonna just disable this warehouse so they despawn. There we go. Clear them. And then I'm gonna clear them again so that we don't have any boys. There you go. All 3 warehouses should be active. But as I said, you could still exploit this, because you could mothball the warehouse and make them recalculate. Or, you know, yeah, make them recalculate. Even if they don't disappear, it would make them stick to the path. We could, but that make is a pathfinding algorithm. At earlier stages I was thinking about something like plan it out, but it's too smart. Plan it out technically would be the way to do it, but it doesn't need to exist. The only problem is, if you already have the system, it's just that it should consider another factor in it, and the factor is, after I trade, how long is it gonna take me to leave? As far as I see it. I'm not a coder though, so like you need to tell me that's something that's possible to even do. See what this one does. It's going for the fruit. And this is not closer than this. Okay. I would add that, because that is a significant factor in the mess that the, you know, vibe players have. And yes, that's a take on vibe coders, but vibe players, where they just build things and then believe it's a believer city, where you just go with the vibe, man, and just suffer crippling inefficiencies for no reason than laziness or, you know, whatever you want to call it. Are they going for clay or fruit? I think they go for fruit, right? By the way, we are gonna explode from unemployment. Yeah, they're going for the fruit. Question is, won't that mess up everything? Shouldn't. Because as long as your trade setups are good, then that should actually help good setups. With the calculations being favoring good warehouses, as opposed to something like this. Okay. Caravan import priority. Save. We are dead, by the way. The save is bricked because I need to fix... I have not been expanding at all. We've just been testing the caravan bullshittery. So, I think we'll be loading another save. What is the month? July? This is when I had fruit here. It's still not great. I'm gonna just disable that. There's also a retaining option, which I don't use. I don't see a practical reason to use that setting ever, but it's a thing you could do. So right now we are trading. Let's do some wheat. No wheat. Sand and gold. Could be a different setup. What are the other trade routes? This is a sea trade route that buys that. There are just 3 land trade routes. I don't want to do a sea trade route yet. I don't think, even though it's cheap. But this one is very cheap, relatively speaking, and it does buy marble. Marble price is 100. 3.5k per year made from that. And it could be a separate warehouse, although I would like that to be on the same kind of area because that would be good. But the one bad thing is I need to preserve some wharf space. I would like to preserve some wharf space. No problem. I imagine it's better if someone goes through all the possibilities. Like, I'm not a coder, but at least I can help in this capacity, so no worries. As long as it's useful. Let's do 16 units of marble. We need to account for a highway. There could be a highway right there. There's some really good dock spots here though. I don't necessarily want to ruin that. There are rocks everywhere, we can just make stuff here, it's fine. It's a car depot spot right there. Wait for some marble to accumulate. And then we use some of the labor for farming. We could also do fish right away. Oh yeah, also we tested this already, so I might as well just add a car depot. Move that clay because it's really not good to rely on them doing it by themselves. I could add a warehouse right here and do clay and timber in full, but I think I'm gonna split. The only downside would be if we put timber with depots into this warehouse, then suddenly these would never be able to produce because the ox carts would overstack, which is not what we would want. Only when there is more than 4. I've got, you actually should have value of the calculation in your log. Augustus log. Do you want me to send it? Because I don't think I can interpret that. Don't bother? Okay. I sent it already. Alright. I'll need more than 1 car depot. No, I know what the log is. I just don't know how to properly read into it, or I don't have time when I stream. But I know what it is. So like, it doesn't take long for me to find it. They should do one round of cursed pathing and then they should fix from that point on. Which also I should really... well, let's not do highway yet, it'll probably be too expensive. I also wasted money obviously by doing the testing stuff, so we are gonna be a little bit slower, but I think we can still live. Did they disappear? No, they are coming back. Okay. That is marble. Let's open up that trade route. Sell this. They're buying equally, which is kind of weird. Because technically timber is more valuable.
Careful. I wish these workers would take more care as they load my beasts up with my new purchases. Careful.
But they are equally splitting it. The quota for that is equal. 200 each. But this is technically more valuable. Maybe the value is so little that it doesn't account for that, but 7 denarii difference. But I think normally you would want this, because then it means your production wouldn't stall on any of these goods, and they would kind of take, you know, part of each. Which is better, because then your clay industry as well as timber industry should technically be able to deposit still. Okay. Let me find it. Here. We'll need food next. After we get some labor, hopefully some money. Alright. There you go. Money. I still don't have labor, so we need to wait a little. How many people can we accommodate in this city? Just 50. So we'll have to start small scale production. That's okay. It doesn't need to be huge right away. I could add houses, but honestly it's okay to just start with a couple of farms. I don't know where I want my granary to go. Probably here. Supply hub. Oh yeah, you can now place granary over a road. That's the thing as well. As long as the road is in the middle of the granary. Because it acts like that anyway, so It's a small quality of life improvement. Warehouse 3 distance 63, score 76. Buy score 0, total 608. Warehouse 1 distance 77, score 65. Warehouse 1 is the main trade warehouse. Warehouse 2 distance 88, score 58. That was the clay warehouse. That's this. But when we started to import stuff to this, that was the granary 3, it had the highest score. Maybe it's because of the amount. It takes into account the potential. I could possibly see that as a cause. But I don't know, you have to tell me. Already more wages, that's not great. Should pay more than Rome, but on this map we don't want to actually get subsidy to expire. Because workshop goods, we cannot sell them, so that's the thing. Let's do 12. I'll add an extra farm. I know we need labor, but we could mothball some stuff. Added highway. Bailout, that's okay. Might have to build up some military though. Probably shouldn't waste it. But that's okay. I think this is just a huge improvement to our throughput. So it's worth doing. So basically, here's where we can try to manage the factors. The reason Fruit Warehouse won was it was actually closest to the entry point in straight line, and the price of goods to buy was too low to consider them more important than selling. To outweigh importing, goods have to be more expensive than 100 denarii. At least that's what currently set up. It's easy to change. So, okay, so if I get that right, if the imports I was doing were if I was selling exports that were valuable at 100 denarii or more, it would outscale the priority that importing would have. Plus the line calculation still probably favored that. So if I put it in a corner, that would change the pattern. So if I do this, then they should go for the main trade center instead. But they would still retrack. After they, buy stuff, they would still possibly see the imports possible. I can still do imports and they would still go here. Assumption, okay. Let's test that theory, I guess. They're going there, the ones that are calculated. Wood warehouse, nothing suspicious about that. Don't worry, just cross 7 mountains and wander into the woods. Some fruit is. Don't worry about the implications of this, okay? This is completely normal. I've seen people do things like this. It is ridiculous, and I don't want to be mean, but yeah, it's really bad. Like, on so many levels, I can't begin to describe how inefficient this is. However, I've seen it. I've seen things, okay? It scarred me for life. Let's wait. Are new traders spawning? Donkey stolen. Yep. That's for sure. Take it.
A good day to you. Can I interest you in some top quality goods?
Let's see what they do. I suspect you're going... No? No? Okay. Okay. They avoided the temptation. So they're going for this. And then they would retrack. Okay. Smart. Smart. So the distance does account for that a lot. I guess if goods were more valuable than the raw stuff, then obviously it might even factor that in more to favor the main trade. As we talked about before. And for the next magic trick, I'm gonna make this caravan from a distant city disappear. This governor playing dirty tricks.
I've heard there are
Go
jobs
that highway.
I want to be a lion tamer.
Thanks for the follow. Let's make small casa. No reason not to. This does have positive desirability, so we can put it right here. That'll be fine. School isn't desirable. Might as well put it here. Let's get some altars. Do we not have ponds? Oh yeah, Seth. I know the ponds are technically more like a park, but really they are a statue. Because they act exactly like a statue. They should be in statues. At least I believe so. I know it's kind of weird, but I think them not being in statues is more confusing than if they were. Yeah. Okay, whatever. If he feels so strongly about it, then sure. I'm not gonna down that hill. Some more farms. Seth sent me something. Oh yeah. Well, as I said, I agree that they are a statue and they should be in the statues list. However, I'm not I don't have the energy to argue with, you know, cosmetic build players, and I just don't, I don't have it in me to to do that. If there is any opposition, basically I give up. Is that good for the mod? No, it's not. But I've been arguing already a lot, and I don't think people like when I argue, and it's just better if I give up. So let's give up. It's fine. Can give up. Yeah, basically. All the config options. Because that fixes problems, right? Yeah, let's just make the highway, it's fine. It's a little bit of debt, but we have a full highway already, and that's gonna really increase how much we can sell per year. I need some more timber though. So key takeaways at the moment are A, stop caravans from mysteriously disappearing. Yeah, that would be pretty good. And B, do something about the distance calculation for absolutely horrible cases that technically close in a straight line. Yeah, because that's just unacceptable, and a lot of people do not know that the distance is as crow flies. I understand that it's difficult to fix, but eventually we need to do something about this. Because, like, I know this, that's why I don't do things of that nature. However, me is not most of the player base. And I've seen people do completely unreasonable things thinking it's efficient or it's gonna work. And then be surprised Pikachu face when it doesn't. Or even more often than not, it's just like, I don't know what to do now. And they either rage quit or they just keep it. Which is, you know, not fixing the problem then is a major problem for them, obviously. But yes, the distance to exit afterwards is actually how to implement it in a roundabout way, which would help to alleviate the edge cases where that would just be unreasonable. Even though it's closer technically, it would still account for, oh, now it's further away than if I traded here. So maybe we could do it that way, and then eventually when you have the time, we could fix it for good in a way that would be, you know, long term. At least that's the idea. Let's get another depot. We can do it down here. Just accept the full load. So how much of distance is this? 4, 5. That's corners don't count. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is about peak efficiency. If I extend more timber yards, it would start causing inefficiency. So we should add timber yards here if I want to directly insert. No problem, Seth. Thanks for the updates. I'll let you know if I run into something else. This hut needs evolution, same as this. We have some money. This is some trees. Always like some palm trees. Paths. Palm tree. As enemies distant, we can fix it. It's okay. I could do statues instead of this. It's better to have statues, but this will do. Food economy should be better. I think we like labor to produce all the goods we want. get some more timber. This would cut off the path though. You got what set up? Yeah, I will publish this one. I'm thinking about putting it on YouTube as well as on the VOD repository for later, because Twitch deletes it after a little while. And I stated it's testing. This is not a public build. We are just fixing things, and we are brainstorming what could possibly be improved. So I don't see this as a problem. Yeah, as long as you agree. I don't want to do anything that would obviously, you know, be against what you guys want. So if you don't want this, just tell me and I'm gonna pull it down. But for now, I'm thinking about putting it up there as well. Let's get some services in here. Section public beta. Okay, no problem. I'm sure people will maybe even comment on this, asking for new things. So I'll put it in community feedback if someone watches this later and has some ideas, or, you know, general feedback about the new things, because we are also looking for what people think, not just like what could be better, but will this be something you will use? Will this help you? Because again, I'm not an efficient player, so for me it's hard to imagine situations where I would use a lot of this. However, I know that there are people like that, and we need their opinion on it. So hopefully we get some of that. So this should be efficient enough to deliver, that's fine. But stretching it, I was thinking putting more timber yards. This is probably bad. It's accessible on GitHub to everyone, right? But it still roadblocks most people to it. And obviously, since I'm, you know, part of the Discord, I guess, I communicate with you a lot. So for me, it's testing for you. It's not like I'm playing it for fun. Even though I do love Caesar and I haven't played in a while. The main purpose of it was always to come here today to try and see what this has and find any issues. This should still be okay to include. However, this highway cuts away a little bit. So let's... yeah, let's put it this way. So the services can reach it. There you go. Of course, it should help. I'll do a dock here later. I think I'm not gonna use a dock here. It's too far. It would probably make them leave this way, which is not what I want. And this area in general would be too crowded. I couldn't fit a very good warehouse. Maybe here, but I think we might be able to manage without that. So we'll see. Right now we need labor, which is just time. We should deal with the gods and then make some military though. Now, where do we want to put temples? Normally I put the temples at like the worst possible place. This is technically good for like gun temples or whatever, but we can put those elsewhere. It's really not the only place for that. So I think I'm gonna make the temples here. Can add some mausolea or something, or nymphems here later. As long as it's accessible to the universe, it should be fine. I want to accept quartermasters in here. It's gonna impact the houses a bit. Put this here instead. Because we have the money. Just need more timber and some more marble, possibly. I don't want to build on this in the case that we might want that. I could do direct insertion for the timber, or rather use some ox carts, but then we would run into the problem I mentioned earlier, where if this warehouse ever is full, then these timber yards won't work, meaning my production rates could actually suffer if I did that and use the direct insertion method. So we'll see. Might even need another set of temples. soon, and I think we will. Why is this? Oh, it's just 4. That would be why. Unintentionally crippled my... I think I double clicked that. There you go. Fix it. Now the Ox is smarter as well. Well, he's waiting until the goods accumulate. Even when... because previously what happened was he was dispatched, and then as long as that condition was met, they would be dispatched, then one of them would take the load and the other one would arrive for only there to be 1 or something, and then he would pick up that 1. Now they do wait for the full cart load as well, which is an improvement to their efficiency. I want a fort. Right here will do. Barracks. Food should be better soon. Let's give it a bit of time to build up. But money is very good. We are not really under any sort of threat. Should make some more temples though. We need tons of workers, that's fine. Subsidy already expired. What is our population? Or sorry, housing advisor, 600 people coming in. Yep, it's gonna get better. Just need some time. It's March. Yeah, the caravans. We need to get a caravanserai at some point. What is the last trade route? It's more marble, some stone. It's cheap. We could do it. I will cart over stone though. Is it gold, the last one they buy? Yes. Stone and gold. Can do 8s. Now where is the best quarry area? I think here is pretty good. We don't have too much labor, but people are moving in, so it's probably a perfect time to start on that. Not sure if these will do well. Might have to reshuffle the highway a little. So how many services will we need? Yes, is the answer, I guess. It's fine. No traders here, obviously. Let's get some stone and gold. And with the gold we can stretch it here along the mountains, because they can travel a long distance without losing any efficiency from delivering. I think I misplaced this one though. Is there a sheep? There's a sheep. Two depots. Pasted, do the same with gold. It's gonna take a ridiculous labor, yeah. It's alright. I'll turn the gold industry off for the moment. Wait for some people to move in. Farms. How's the military? It's full. I forgot about the military academy. That's fine. Add it now, and I want another fort. Are these both trees? I think that's a rock. So it won't work. Can't do it this way though. Open that new trade route. Need to enable the gold. Corruption. Yeah, now we have a corruption mechanic. That's fine. It's gonna only hit us a little bit. It scales with population. Eventually we want some monuments. We do actually have all the monument materials on this map, or like every single resource is available on this map. There's no reason not to build monuments, so we want to build monuments. The sheep grazing on a highway is cursed, by the way. I'm gonna just write that to Seth, I guess. It's just a small thing, but maybe they could be made to move off automatically when possible, because it's just so unnatural seeing them graze on it. It's a minor thing. Still, let's see. Share the screenshot. The quest. We might increase production, but depends. What is our current capacity? 300. We could make pottery, give it to people. That would increase our population, but the problem with that is we don't tax people. And we will not be taxing people unless I build a senate, I guess. Oh, I don't have... Do I have a senate? Yeah, I do. Yeah, we could do that. We could give them a senate and tax this one block, which I actually think is viable, because forums will cripple my... it will cripple my favor otherwise. Oh, pottery. It's probably overproducing. Is it overproducing? It seems like no cars are waiting. I don't think we can delete goods at the moment. So I'll have to keep the fruit here, which is terrible, but oh well. I can just do like 8 or 12 pottery. Keep the 4 fruit in there. Set up our warehouse. Now let's take a look at our entertainment options. We need a tavern. Tavern ladies. It highlights the market lady as well when you select a market. There's also an option now to track them, I believe. Or when you click on it, I don't remember what the thing was. You can, I think you can track them.
There's not enough food here.
I don't know how.
How am I supposed to make a living?
Anyhow, let's make a vines farm. It's fine to have it here. One will do actually. Use this for oil later as well. Already need a lot of workers. Hopefully we can still accommodate this. From 8 to 7, only when there's more than 4. The request was almost ready, but then we took it. It's fine. We can also send a gift. It changes to white when you can send a gift, the savings kind. Still, the houses are stockpiling, I think, which is why it's taking so much. Send the money. We are swimming in money. Could use more marble, but Currently the labor doesn't allow for that. With this kind of money though, as long as we make the food, I think it's viable to already expand. I might miss this request. We have 51 favor. I'm not gonna be losing. I'm not gonna be losing any to corruption, so or the you know, the favor malice from that, so it's okay. People should be okay with some taxes since they are there's no unemployment. Need that tavern to do its job, so I'll have to wait for some wine, but I'll give them an amphitheater as well. And an actor's colony. I wanted to keep I guess I could do water from elsewhere. It's fine. We have this, so I can bring it that way. Eventually we'll make some goods. Pottery should take a little while. Mine is being made. Should add some more clay? No, clay is fine. These set up correctly? Yeah. Okay, Seth sent me a version that has a calculation fix. Let's save this. Let's take a look. Oh. My PC thinks that it's a Trojan, but let's take it. This should include the new calculations. So I'll have to test it. So the traders that are currently on the map won't change their pattern, but the ones that should arrive afterwards will. So distance to exit is now taken into account when you know, calculating distance-based calculations for imports. So if I put a warehouse that's close to the entry but it's far away from the exit, it should make it a malus to their calculations. And we will test that. So the only thing I need to do is take a warehouse, make it here, and accept traders, and accept fruit. And watch the next spawn. Yeah, that's the correct one. And they are ignoring it. Okay. Perfect. They will just check if they will still go to it. So they trade, and then they try to backtrack to it, and then I remove it. What will they do? They disappear. All right. Wonderful. Now we need that vine here. I think it's coming. Yeah, that has been a dispatch. Need to save this. He says it shouldn't have happened because it's already fixed apparently, but it isn't. There's an invasion. It's from here. That's fine. We could use some bridges to potentially path the enemies in a way that we would want, but this map doesn't have very heavy military activity. We don't need to bother too much about that. We should build some monuments once we fix our labor, which is gonna happen after we get this block evolved. We stabilize food supply, we add more, we add another block, and that's gonna give us so much labor. Yeah, okay. It is a bit far. So choke point should really be around here, preferably. These guys are just skirmishers, so they shouldn't really pack much of a punch in melee. Yeah, they just die instantly. It's gonna disrupt my immigration. Need to kill him. Vine is here. There you go, all insula. Now we need to add another block. Is the food stable though? It's just enough, which isn't quite enough, but that's fine. Suffer with me. I'm sure they weren't killed by invaders. Let's see, we need water first. Thing is, there's gonna be a good spot for patricians here, but for now it's fine to use this area for that. Can always adjust later. Want to sort of hug the cliffs so that we don't waste potential space. Now, in regards to this block, 1, 2, 1, 2. Can make that tighter. That's fine. Will this be too large is the question. We'll have to see. Yep, it is a bit too large. It works in some places, not in others though. I guess we'll just live with it. This barber did not cover the whole thing. Oh no, he did. That's gonna cover all the houses. It could change though. It's better to just stick with what works and don't make it too large for its own good, obviously, but I think we can handle a little bit of a jank, so I'm gonna just make it like this. Extra houses on the side. Now let's check this range. Yeah, we need a new reservoir down here. That's okay. Let's put a Venus in here. Definitely can sell more marble if we had any. Also, the stone depot can't handle all the throughput. Let's fix that. Hey Jake, welcome. Yes, it's rain. And other weather effects, but they don't have any practical implications. It's just a visual thing. It's like the clouds that we have. That's snow because it's December. I'm not quite a fan of how bright it gets, and I think Sephirex said that on Central we probably shouldn't get snow. I would keep it for northern maps, but I wouldn't add it on a desert or Central, personally. Let's get another farm. Seth wrote me. Oh yeah. Right. Still listening. Great. Yeah. The snow seems out of place on the central map. I imagine it's even worse on a desert. But you know, it's cool. The weather effects are nice. People always enjoy the small little things in the mod, and this is one of those cases where it will definitely help. However, I would personally also turn down the brightness. It feels a bit too extreme for me, but I don't know. Not an artist. I'll need to wait until they merge before I fix their stuff, but I can give them a theater. To give them sentiment, so they leave me alone with the crime. Let's put it here. Hello, Kitty. Welcome. I think it's Darude on a desert map. What is a Darude? I don't know what that means. You need to explain. There we go. This house does not have coverage. I could just remove it. We need some space anyhow. Need a school. Let's get a couple of altars. Sandstorm, right? Yeah, I mean, if it's fitting for that, that would kind of make sense. There's been some other suggestions on GitHub. I've seen the dunes for desert. I would be okay with having more variants in the desert tiling, or even having something like a blocker, sort of like we use rocks, right? But having that be specific to climate, so you could have like a bog or marshland for northern, or you could have similar stuff on central, I guess. But you could, or a pit, whatever you want. But on a desert, it's either quicksand or dune, and it could slow walkers, which could also introduce some logistical challenges. They are very tall, but it's a statue, basically. So, you know, as a statue, I definitely get why it's like it is. I don't know. It looks better when you have insula. But even then, it's like much taller than an insula. They are very tall. But for me, I don't get concerned by that because I don't have autism. However, I could totally see the, you know, the idea behind that. Let's get a highway in here. Need that to be fast. Give more desirability. Yeah. I mean, it's fine as it is. It's balanced so that it's not better than a Lararium, because Lararium were totally broken before, where they were too efficient. So I wouldn't touch that unless you increase the costs, you know, because it's balanced. The problem with Lararia were that they were more efficient than temples, and you would just make jumps on every map, because you could avoid lobby by doing that. And even now, like, sometimes if I play a really hard map, I'll still do it as an investment. Lolrarium. Yeah. It's too good. Or rather, it was too good. For a while. Now it's fair and balanced, as everything should be. I have a 3x3 spot, which I don't normally have. Let's give them a... These will struggle with desirability, so let's give them a large temple. Or large temple. Large pond. Got some serious unemployment. That's good. We can fix it. I could do something for the requests, but honestly, that's fine. We could use more marble. Maybe even stone. Yeah, stone is bottomed out over here. But adding stone to this cliffside, they cannot deliver so far. These could, potentially. Because they can use the highway. Let's add some mining then. And we should add some more gold mines, I guess. I cannot sell that much gold, but there's another trader that buys it eventually, so might as well make a little more. Oh, this tent is not evolving. Let's remove it. Some of the markets don't cover this at all, but they do cover all the houses, I guess. Somehow, yeah. The block is slightly too large for its own good, but it will work. Need a tavern in this block. And an amphitheater. I'll put it on the corner. Even though it does have positive desirability. This might need to be a statue, by the way, for the desirability of these guys. Plus we should put a pond here for these people. Let's get a tiny bit of iron. Get some legionaries. This cursed fruit in here is bothering me on a physical level, but What can you do? Need more food. I'm not sure if adding more farms here wouldn't cause delay with cars. Possibly. How many tiles is this? 4, 5, 6, 7. We can do a couple more. But that's the extent. Of course, it will mean this cursed staircase needs to be included, which is fine. We can't make them a roadblock. I think Sephirex wants them to be a roadblock, because everything in their mother needs to be a roadblock. Of course, naturally. No, I actually do think it's kind of neat. Same as the bridge roadblock function. Eventually, I guess. Could add fish. We need sentiment anyway. And fish is really easy to make. Just to figure out what do I want to do with it. Can do a little bit here. Could actually add a fish granary here, which would be better than using that warehouse for it. Then these need production from risks as well. But if I do it this way, it won't work. I think I'm moving that down, but then this doesn't work. Theft, yeah, it's the tents. It's getting sorted, just need time. Was there a fish depot already? Are they able to deliver in time? Yeah. This one runs off, comes back. Okay. Now when fish arrives, there's gonna be a rush for it, but just need to stabilize the wheat. I think overstacking the wheat should be our priority. This should technically be enough food for these people, but it always takes a while because of the buffer they stockpile. Let's make another area. This will be our granary, I think. It does cut off this farm though. And this doesn't work. Can put it here. If there is 2x2 spots left, that's fine. We can put a depot into that. Now, key thing here is we don't want to connect to this staircase. These cars would then go here, losing efficiency. Same as the low ground cars. Let's wait. Yeah, there's fish. The quartermaster can also take fish, but that's okay. Can use the extra morale. How are the legionaries doing? Couple. We need local uprising. We need something. I wanted to do monuments into the monuments. The uprisings from here, which isn't great because they'll be pretty fast. I'm wondering if we can make it in time with the javelins. We'll see. I'll try to make them waste a little bit of time with pathing, I guess. They're running in immediately, which is not great. 4 legions, legionaries, let's do square formation. They can handle natives quite well. Still add some towers, but it's a bit late. Are they going for my wine? It might be. Let them fight. They'll go for the food supply, I think. We'll see. No losses. Monument builders, yes. So I've got timber, clay, marble, stone. Stone being in a bit of a shortage. This needs a connection right here. Need some bricks as well, but we don't need that immediately. Let's make sand. Workshop. Concrete. That's a wharf spot, so I don't need to waste. I don't want to waste it. There's still the dock spots here, but I'm not convinced we'll be using them. Because I can make docks elsewhere, and I've beaten this map without ever using sea trade before. So my assumption is that we can still do that. Although I will probably do some sea trade. Eventually. Now, where will the monuments go? My assumption is here. We can't put timber here anyway because it's too far from the destination to be efficient. unless we split it. So let's make monument builders here. And let's get an info down here. Let's do some oracles first. That will do. Yes, and you're welcome. Thanks, but no, really, I'm not even tryharding. It's just we were testing some things earlier. Now I'm just playing. This is not a very hard map. Seth sent me another version. Lower snow intensity caravans should path normally to warehouses and granaries. Snow approaching the wrong end. They should stop disappearing when the goal is demolished. Okay. I don't know if I should test that again. Let's test it. I'm sorry, I know it's disruptive to the stream, but the stream is really a side thing here today. Let's make a save. I'm gonna have to update my build. Just gonna take a second. I'm just gonna make sure that I grabbed it because somehow I didn't feel like I did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I didn't have it. Now I do. So what we want to check is this trader is going for this warehouse. If this warehouse gets mothballed right now, he will recalculate instead of disappearing. He should just leave. Not even try to trade, right? Well, he's trying. And he didn't buy anything. Now he's leaving. Okay. Makes sense. That's okay. I'm gonna just write Seth about that. But what if... what if we delete it? Because it's a difference between mothballing it and removing it. We need to try and remove it and see what happens. This trader is going for this warehouse. What if it doesn't exist? Will he still arrive at the destination where it was? Yeah, okay. Okay. Good. I need to load my save though because I bricked my trade. There you go. So that's fixed. Now the snow intensity should also be reduced. We'll see how that works. It's cursed feeding. I think this changed as well, didn't it? No, it's the same. It just takes a little while. Once it overstacks, it will be fine. No, that makes sense. I expect the new ones to spawn and not see the destination, obviously, but the ones that we had probably will, which is perfectly fine. So, did we allow monument builders? Yes. Are they doing it? I need wells. For concrete. Yeah. The monument builders or the foremen are here. Perfect. This is evolving. Finally gonna fix our tent issues. Just keep overstacking that. We should probably add some more farms. Gods are pissed, but I'm building the oracles, so hopefully we make that. Not sure about the concrete, because I've been kind of late on that, but they are cooking. Yeah, they're cooking. Seb says, well, one thing I remembered, sometimes it seems like the work camp isn't delivering a resource because it's second and third. Oh yeah, right. I read that if I assume when they cannot deliver anything that's currently needed for the construction stage, they're gonna try to deliver the other materials. One thing I would say about that, it's cryptic because people now will wonder why, and it could be a mess. So what I would like to see is if I open this interface, I know it's already crowded, but this down here, this is just, you know, not, I don't know. What I would like is be able to see the stages, or like a button I could click and show me all the stages, what's been delivered to each stage, and what will be required for each successive stage, so that I can easily check. Because currently I feel like people will be wondering, you know, oh, it's not supposed to take that, and then that stage will advance and oh yeah, they need it for something else. So in order to prevent that, that would probably be better. Right, so it's a bug, it's not a feature. Because I was reading, from what I understood, someone wanted to make that into a feature. Yeah. So, because I think that would be cryptic if it worked like that. If it's not supposed to do that, I might be able to see it once we build a bigger monument. We'll see. I want to make... Let's make... I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna build a caravanserai, and then I'm gonna see what the stage currently wants, and then I'm gonna just give it the second stage materials and see if they still deliver it. So this asks for stone. I'm just gonna disable them this. I'm gonna make some bricks. See what they do. Okay, let's test it. I think I can test it pretty easily. So it asks for stone. It shouldn't receive anything else. There are gonna be bricks in here. I'll see if they take them. Just make them produce. Sort of fish. I'll put another javelin fort down. And I want another legion fort as well. I wish we could rotate, cycle through the forts as well, but I guess it'd be too complicated. I guess a hotkey could be assigned. So they're doing the oracles, that's fine. But there are bricks now, and bricks will be asked for in the next stage. Meta stage 2 needs timber 8, marble 16, brick 32, and even though player has bricks, it doesn't deliver it because marble is missing. Ah. So if I accept marble here, no, marble is missing, so I need to advance that stage, I guess. So no access here. Access here. Let them build the first stage. And then in the second one we start to shuffle it. Okay. So should I just do what I did? Okay. I'm gonna just let them cook, I guess. No problem. Let's add some fish, but if I do, then they will see this as a destination, and I really don't want that, because this is very far away, and they will choose that destination if ever there is a disruption to available storage space. Even though this warehouse is closed, it could accept fish, and I should do that, but I cannot trust them. I mean, we could test it, like, you know, see what happens, I guess, but my assumption is that they will still do retarded things. Because they can, right? At least that's my assumption. Let's do 1616. From this warehouse to our main granary. There we go. I got a message I need to read. Alright. Got some unemployment. Should probably handle that. I want to see what the wharfs will do. I think they prioritize granary over delivering to a warehouse. Which means they will always go to the granary, right? Yeah, they will. That's unacceptable though, because it's gonna be hyper inefficient. Yeah. Would it be possible to break off the connection? It would, but the direct insertion of marble would stop working for these mines, which is what it's used for. But it's a lot of good wharf space that's wasted, even though that we really don't need to min-max or anything. The snow is better, I feel, but I probably still wouldn't want it on a central map. I would keep it specifically on northern maps because it would give it more of a special feel as well. While on the central, I would just not have that. And I think that's fine. If anything, you could add the heat wave or anything like that, where it gets a different filter instead. But I don't know. We could fix it with a depot with the marble, but is it worth the effort? We also need connection for the monument builders. Ugh. If I do this, will this help? Oh, I can highlight the ship with that. I didn't even know that. So I saw that click on these things. Let's enable stockpiling to a warehouse. Okay. Now they use the warehouse. Perfect. That should actually work really well. I just need to designate over 4 or 8. And hopefully it's gonna work. This one is still going elsewhere. Maybe I missed one or something. It's possible. Yeah, this one. So building this, they need timber, stone, and bricks. They have access to everything, so... The thing is, I never really run into issues with that because I know what I need and I kind of have it set up ahead of time. Not sure if it will actually have issues. I got some monument builder stuff here because the stone is always low. Same as marble. It's fine if the marble quarry travels a little bit. Even though this will now become a destination for these guys, which I don't want. So just the stone. At least we'll have plenty for building stuff with. And it can get marble. The carters here idle anyway. They could deliver to the trade warehouse, I guess, but hopefully they won't. What if they do, then only when this is overstacked, which currently isn't. Dispatch was ready for a sec. So butcher the pathing a little, but it's a minor thing. Let's move the architect. Still a hut. It's devolution because of lack of food. Once it overstacks, it should be stable enough. So how about the fish? This guy is still doing it. Warehouseman. Ah, okay. So he's the warehouse guy. He's doing the fish to the granary. Okay. That's nothing I can really affect, and it doesn't hurt anything. Because he's not delivering any resources to workshops or anything like that. So it doesn't matter. That's fine. But similar in how we don't want to connect this block area to this, because then these dwarves could see this as a destination as well. Which we really don't want. It would take far too long to bring stuff over. Send this. It's being built. Fortunately, we did set up the stone, so it's gonna speed up stuff. Timbers here need some bricks. Bricks are available, so just about time it takes to bring it. I could add another work camp, but it's all a bit far now. I think I'll let Sephirex figure out if he wants to change anything more for tomorrow. We'll test some more tomorrow. It's been a relatively short stream, 3 hours, but it's late. I need to have some sleep, so I have some normal sleep schedule because I work, you know, every day, basically, apart from weekends. So I'm gonna have to leave it here, but we'll play some more tomorrow and test and see if he's got a new build for us to check out. Anyway, I hope it's been useful and people appreciate the changes that I've been showing. Hopefully they will be used and appreciated by the community, regardless of what kind of player you are, because most of them are aimed at people who are new or don't realize how to play hyper efficiently, because obviously most of this was possible to avoid by just having very efficient setups, but you can't expect everyone to do that, nor is everyone's playstyle, you know, hyper efficiency. Therefore, it's probably best if the game kind of leans into helping you even when you're not making the best decisions to still not be completely crippled. So hopefully that's gonna help in that regard. Anyways, thanks for watching, see you around, bye.